off social media since last May.
Yeah, I came off
And what
social media
difference have
in
you
May.
found since then? Yeah.
To be honest, quite a bit, because I find with social media in particular, as soon as you've got any spare time, instead of actually doing something productive, you just kind of go, oh, I'll scroll through social media. And then next minute you blink and you've lost about 2 hours of your life. So
Yeah, 100%. I have it the worst when I'm on the toilet. I'll be honest with you. I'll go
big
as soon as I
time.
go to the toilet, the phone comes out, and you know when you get those red marks on top of your thighs? Your
Yeah.
elbows just been digging in, and you stand up and your legs are numb, and you're just walking around like, oh no, the pins and needles are coming.
Yeah, it is. It's true. It's true. It does happen.
I mean, I've tried though. I've tried to not use it so much. And do you know the blocks you can put on your phone anyway, where it says, oh, you've used your limit, or you're not allowed to go on with this time, or whatever it might be?
Yeah.
They never work.
No, they don't.
If anything, it annoys me more so because now I'm more aware of how much I'm using it. I'm like, shit, I'm doing it again.
Yeah, and even more so, you turn around to your phone and go, don't tell me what to do.
It's like, excuse me.
Sorry, I make my own decisions. I'm a grown man, phone.
Yes, I might be contradicting myself. It doesn't matter. I made that decision yesterday. I'm a different person now. I'm a better person now.
True. It's true. I've had my social media call and come out a different man.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, so obviously, how have you found in that then? From then to now, have you... Because obviously, a lot of people only do it for a week or so. I've tried for like a week or two, and I've said, I'm not doing it now, and then I'm back on it again. Do you, after like a long period of time without, how would you feel that's positively and negatively changed, I suppose?
Well, I suppose the negative things is I don't feel quite as in touch with everything. So, for example, our mutual friend Levi, he'll do some gigs and things like that, and I won't know about him or anything like that. And I'll message Levi and be like, "Oh, I didn't know you had a gig tonight." He's like, "Oh, mate, I'm so sorry. I totally forgot you're not on social media because that's where everyone sees everything."
Yeah.
So I generally find that quite a few things go amiss, but I suppose double-edged sword is the good thing is I'm away from everything.
Yeah, true.
Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes, I think it's like an old Shakespearean quote, but comparison's the thief of joy. So like you go on social media and you've got like all these influencers who try and make out like their life looks amazing and that kind of stuff, when in reality it's probably not as good as it seems. So I think it's just one of those. I'd rather focus on my time and my life than I would do somebody else's.
Exactly, and that's... I mean, you couldn't have put it better. I couldn't have put it better myself. I think the same thing that kind of comes to mind with that, it almost being like someone's highlight reel on social media.
Yeah.
I have this feeling or this theory in my head, regardless of whatever anyone's life might be. Obviously, there's different extents of this, and at different times of people's lives, it's not completely true. But everyone's life is kind of like the same amount of joy versus difficulties in certain areas. Yes, there's different things that happen, but for themselves, those are extreme things or not so extreme things. They feel the same.
Yeah, definitely.
Whether someone's in a really good situation or bad situation, to them, it's comparatively to the rest of their life. Everyone has those ups and downs and good things and bad things. It's just that now we've got this thing associated with ourselves where we can just show off the highlights and just show off the best things.
Or sometimes things that aren't even in your life, but you want it to look like they are.
Exactly.
I mean?
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
It says a bit weird. I think it's also as well, it wants you to do it that way though. Whenever you're on there, it doesn't want... Obviously, negative stuff shares a lot further and faster than positive stuff. However, you're overwhelmed with all of your friends are going on holidays, going out, doing different things, having babies, getting married, all that kind of stuff. That's all you see from your friends, which makes you feel like shit because you might not be doing those things all the time, and it makes you feel like you have to be doing those things all the time. Then all you see from the wider media, from the wider world, from things like your Lad Bible and other big pages and news pages, is all the bad things.
Yeah, so, it is.
So you're getting...
It's a contrast.
You're getting
it's a massive contrast.
So it's not, you're not getting the good things from the world. You're getting the bad things from the world and the best things from your mates. So you're there thinking,
Yeah.
right, in my local world, as good as things might be for me, all my best friends are having a better time. But then in the wider world, everyone's on a sinking ship. So what do you make of that? Is everything just shit?
No, I just personally think, and it may be ever so slightly deep, I think people have been more inclined to deal with the bad times if they realised that other people had them too. So I think half of this problem is social media and half of these reality TV shows, which I really, really don't like. It's like they just, as you say, show the best of everything. And even in the best of things, you will have bad times throughout them. But if you don't show those things, then you just expect the best of everything as well, which makes you less equipped to deal with bad times.
Yeah, true. Very true. We
So
can go
I
a lot
think
deeper
that's
than
the
that,
difference.
Jake. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can. Maybe look. If we're in person, we probably would, because we'd have a couple of beers in front of us as well.
Oh God, yeah, a few drinks, crying.
Oh, it would have been great to do this up at the gatehouse or somewhere, at a local somewhere.
Oh man,
Oh, it would
yeah,
have been awesome. Have a
yeah, we'll
proper
be in the
catch up.
Westbury Tavern.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right though. I mean, it's well, I can't remember what the quote was, but it was something along the lines of good times make tough times make tough people, and weak times make weak people, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah, no, it was I think tough times make tough people who create easy times. Easy times make weak people, which create tough times. So it's
yeah,
that cycle of
yeah, it's
if
true.
some things are going to be good, generationally as well. Like we know from our parents or grandparents who may have had it a lot tougher than we did, because it was tougher for them. They worked harder, which made it too easy for us, effectively. So now
Yeah,
that it's so easy for us, we're not equipped, as you say, to deal with the tough times.
that's pretty bang on, man. It's pretty bang on. Most people in this generation don't know what a struggle is, do they?
I don't think anyone really knows. No matter how much we might talk about it, everyone struggles regardless.
Yeah,
There's no, once you figure it out, it's easy streets. No,
yeah,
once you figure it out,
exactly.
it's like, oh shit, now we're here. Back at it again.
Excuse me.
I mean, I'm saying this, however, it gets pretty good as well.
Yeah, man,
Things get
100%.
pretty great.
You've got to take the rough with the smooth, haven't you? You've
Yeah,
got to take the rough with the smooth. Not everything's always plain sailing. Not everything's always difficult. So I think you've just
exactly.
got to take everything as they come.
Yeah. Well, on that note, then, what I'd like to ask everybody is, when it comes to taking the smooth and the things that bring joy in life, anyway, what is exciting you the most right now?
Oh, right, okay. So I as I'm sure you know, I work for JCB.
Yes.
I've been there for about 7 years or so now, and I'm currently having some meetings about going to work at a different site, which they're currently building in San Antonio, Texas.
Woohoo!
Um,
Yeehaw! What the hell,
yeah,
Jake? That's
indeed, man.
awesome.
So at the moment, yeah, I mean, it's not a done deal. It's not a done thing. I mean, it could be quite a way away yet, but at the same time, I'm in a more positive position with that than I ever have been.
That's awesome. Are you
So
on the sort of on the shortlist kind of thing then?
to be honest, it's one of those where I've been asking about it now for quite some time, even though there wasn't actually any kind of announcement. I just heard that they were building a site in Texas,
You're just
so
planting
I
that
just
seed
started
from the early
inquiring.
doors.
Yeah, yeah. So I was like there from the get go, and I was like going, oh, are there any opportunities about this or about this? And I just kept getting, oh, to be honest, we don't really know. And then they made the announcement a couple of weeks ago that it was going to be in San Antonio. So I was like, right, surely people know a little bit more about it now if they know where it's going to be and they've announced a director and that kind of stuff. So I emailed that person and asked if we could have a bit of a sit down. We had a sit down not last week, week before. I think he loved my enthusiasm. I loved the enthusiasm he was giving me. And then we're setting up another meeting. I think it's this week coming. So
That's what.
it's just about now trying to come up with a little plan, and we've still got so many questions to ask because it's such a big thing to do. But it's something that I would genuinely love to do.
That's awesome. That's incredible.
Uh,
Do you have a time scale for when this might all get started?
Chances are, if I was going to move across there, it'd probably be early 2025.
That's not far away.
Not really. Not really in the grand scheme of things. I mean, it might seem a little while away, when you talk about it, but all you have to do is have a look at how quick last year went. Do you know what I mean?
I
And it
mean,
might not feel like it at the time, but it does.
it seems far away personally, but on a corporate scale, that's lightning speed to be able to get up and over there within a year and not have to wait a few
Yeah,
years and whatnot. Obviously, you've known about it for a while, but those only kind of mumblings and whispers.
yeah,
But that's been like,
yeah, that's it.
okay, right, this is happening now. When do you want to go, kind of thing. Okay, next year, awesome. Gives you a great amount of time to set up, get all your affairs in order,
Exactly,
say your
exactly.
goodbyes, reconnect with all those kids out there somewhere. Say,
Yeah,
Daddy's going for a while.
reconnect with the army.
Yeah, oh, that'd be awesome as well. That'd be really, really good. Where's San Antonio in Texas? Is that
San Antonio, it's closest to the Mexican border.
okay? So is that really,
So,
really hot then?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
really, really hot. Like 50-degree summers, that kind of thing.
Oh god.
It's
The thing is, I'm terrible with perspective as well though when it comes to geography. So I've no idea. So obviously you say America. I know America's big. I know that
absolutely, yeah.
compared to the UK, each state is pretty much the size of a country.
Well, I
So
think Texas is like one of the biggest states in the US. I think it's the
so
second largest state in the US behind Alaska. Um,
so with that being said, then San Antonio to somewhere like Austin, is that a flight or is that like a
uh,
7 or 8
yeah,
hour
it's like
drive?
a 3-hour flight.
3 hours, 3 hours to get in one state.
And keep in mind, I think Austin is the closest major city to San Antonio.
Oh my gosh! So
So,
I'd love to go to Austin. It's as a
yeah, I
hub
mean,
at the
I've always
moment.
liked it. Apparently, it's the music capital of the world if you consider how many music venues it has per capita.
Oh really?
Yeah,
I know obviously America, well Texas probably alone, and a lot of those southern states are a
yeah.
massive proportion of I don't know what the word is. Of all of the sort of that kind of that genre, that Western music,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, big
and
time.
it's
Big
a
time
huge
country
genre. Like
music.
the whole that what propelled sort of Taylor Swift up there, and then any of the other kind of anyone's got that kind of southern twang to the voice when they're singing as
Yeah.
well.
It's like a southern drawl, isn't it?
Yeah. Have you ever done anything in that style?
I wouldn't say in that style, but it's only because I don't think a Stokey accent fits you very well. Uh, but
That could be the
one thing
niche.
I
That
can
could be the
say,
niche.
yeah, maybe I'll go over there and start like doing like really Stokey versions of like Jolene or something.
Yeah. You're just country roads and the thickest Stokey accent going.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
Austin, it's Austin itself, though. From what I can see, obviously I'm not there in the thick of it, and I don't know what's going on in the US entirely. But it's one of the biggest hub spots at the moment where popping up, where everyone seems to be going, where they're all kind of migrating from that California, LA area to Austin, and it's supposed to have an amazing feeling to it at the moment, and that
Nice. Yeah, I can
extends
imagine.
to Texas itself.
I can well imagine. Yeah. I mean, I've been watching a lot of things recently, as you can imagine, on San
Watching what? Sorry.
Antonio. I've been watching a lot of things recently, as you can imagine,
Oh, okay, yeah.
um, on San Antonio and Texas in general, and pros and cons of living there. Um, and to be honest, I just, I just love to go across. I just love to go across. It just seems like there's just so much to do, so much to see, and I just love to go. I mean, obviously, the toughest thing humanly possible would be leaving my friends and my family. That would be such a difficult thing for me to do. But God, I'd love to go there.
Well, speaking from experience, it is very tough to leave. And that's coming from somebody who's left a few times.
Yeah.
Um, it is very tough to leave, but you always leave with a smile on your face still, anyway, with excitement. That last
Yeah.
goodbye, that last night is tough when you have those emotional goodbyes. I think we sat at the park at Brampton before I went to, I think it was 2 nights before going to Australia. And I sat there with a bunch of our mutual friends and some others as well. And we're just like, because everywhere had closed and we're walking home, it was just like, that full, I'm going to miss you, man. Tears coming
Yeah.
up. We're like, no, we're men. We're not going to cry. And it's like, fuck it, we're men. We can
Yeah.
cry. Said our goodbyes, and we keep in touch still now. And it's, again, one of the reasons why I do the podcast, because I can keep in touch with everybody from home on a longer format. But yeah, what I'm saying is it feels really tough to go, but it's the right thing, and everyone will support you with it because they know if you want to do it, then it's the right thing for you.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps things fresh, what keeps things alive. And one thing I can definitely say for myself, when it comes, we're talking about how fast a year goes. We're talking about how fast a year goes or how long it can feel at the same time. Whenever
Yeah,
you
that's true.
put yourself in a brand new situation in terms of career, location, friends, relationships, whatever it might be, time for whatever reason seems to slow down. It really does kind of come to a halt, and you can take it all in. Where at the end of, let's say, the end of 2025, when you've been there for a full year, you'll look back and feel that that was one of the longest years of your life because you had done so much. You had done
Yeah.
so much. You were switched on for all of it. Where when you have those days and those times when you might be in the slug of things, just trying to get through the week or the month, that's when the time kind of just skips by straight away. But when you're out there in Texas, you're going to be making all these new friends, being all these new places, having all these new amazing burgers and booze and pizzas. Oh my God, the food over there. And you're going
I
to look
wonder
back
what you
after the end
said
of
when you said
2025.
burgers. So you said when you're having all these new amazing birds.
There you go, the Texan birds as well.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. I'll bet you
That's
the money I'll move
not even
over
to
there
mention that.
and I'll never act more British in my entire life just in case it works. So
And
I'm
then
like,
I have a
hey,
funny,
how are you? And I'll be like, good evening.
I have a funny feeling it will. I found myself honestly just naturally just talking to people, because if I came out with my full Stokey draw out here, and I'm trying my best to do it whilst on this podcast talking to you, not to let it come out.
Really?
People just either one, they don't understand me, and two, they seem to smile a lot more when I sound like the Queen.
Nice.
It's like they like it. Oh, it's cute. Oh, it's quirky. It's funny. Oh, this is our little British friend.
A little British friend. Absolutely.
But no, honestly, you're gonna absolutely love it. So, what would you say for yourself? Obviously, you've done the research of what the most amazing things are in San Antonio, Texas, America, and you've always probably had these kind of ideas of what America itself and the South hold. But what are those major pros and then afterwards cons for yourself as Jake Shakeshaft?
Um, to be honest, I think the biggest pro for me is it's almost like starting a new life. And I don't mean that to sound in a bad way, as in like I have a bad life, because I do not in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, I
But
know.
it's just the excitement of something new.
Yes.
I mean, I went to America in 2009. Don't get me wrong, couldn't have been much further away than where I'm planning on going. I went to Florida. But I loved it, and I just loved all the Americanisms, and I loved how they basically put on a show and how polite everybody was, and everything about it just kind of suited me down to the ground. And I always said that I wanted to go back, but I kind of made a bit of a promise to myself that if I ever went back, I wouldn't be going to visit.
Yeah.
Um, so this is kind of like fulfilling a bit of a promise to myself. Um, so yeah, that's something that I really look forward to. The whole idea of, you know, I'd be going over there, and I know for a while that I'd have a career because it's something that I've already worked towards. Um, you know, I know for a while that I'd be okay. And then,
Yeah. That security and that peace of mind with what you're doing is a massive help when taking
big
that
time,
big first
big
leap.
time. Yeah,
But then having
yeah, it
that
just makes
excitement which is pulling
adjusting.
you there, yeah.
Yeah, it just makes
I mean, that
adjusting the most
excitement
difficult thing.
pulls you there, and that excitement pulls you there, and that's where you feel that draw to it, like you say.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
And
I love doing
do you
new
get that
things anyway.
feeling? Do you get that feeling where it's almost like America itself? To me, places have those kind of feels to them, even if you've been there or you've not been there.
Uh huh.
Almost like it's like a nostalgia kind of feeling, but with a different tinge or a different tint.
Yeah,
So America to
almost like
me,
it's something you
obviously,
should do.
yeah. So it's a different parts of America, especially for me, have like a different kind of ideology, and most of that, let's be honest, comes from movies, comes from media, comes from what you hear online, and everywhere's always going to be completely different to that. But speaking on the whole of America as a whole, to me, it feels very much like you're walking around as part of a movie set.
Yeah,
It's like you're on the big screen. Everything's done to an extent where it's larger than life, and everything
yeah.
feels like it has to be done in a way which is bigger and better. And America, fuck yeah,
To see the
it's the
motherfucking
greatest
day,
country in the motherfucking world, yeah, America, fuck yeah.
yeah.
Then having
Brilliant.
that draw to it, and if you're there, if it does go ahead as planned from next year, and you're there for a prolonged period of time, I will 100% be seeing you there, because that's on
Oh
mine and
yeah.
Katie's list for over the next few years. We've got a few things we want to do beforehand, but for America, sorry, that'll be I want to say 3-4 years, maybe.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah. So how
You'd
does
definitely
it
be
feel to
welcome to
you
stay
then?
with me, Bales.
Sorry,
You'd definitely be welcome to stay with me, Bales.
that'd be beautiful. I can't wait to see your face again.
Definitely, man.
Shame we're not doing it on video, but I don't think my internet at the moment is going to take that. So.
I don't think my face would.
So I had a friend of mine. He was on the Adam, who was on the first episode of the podcast. He was the guy who suggested I do a podcast in the first place about a year ago, and I was like, "Nah, I'm okay." At the time, I just went back. Like, "What do you think? Don't have the face for the big screen? Do I only have the face for radio?"
Oh God, no, no! You haven't got a radio face, Bales. Don't worry, man.
I haven't got a radio voice, that's for sure.
No, you
Oh.
have, because you've ditched that Stokey accent, mate. There's no, you didn't pick up the call and go, right, yes?
Hey up, my duck.
Right, yes? How's that?
Just wait till I get to like 20 episodes deep and I feel really comfortable with it.
Yeah,
And
exactly, yeah.
then we'll need subtitles.
All of a sudden there'll be a good kickabout against the wear and edit to your bosses.
Oh yeah. Oh god, I have missed home a little bit. Just not the place more particularly, but the people.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely. Well,
yourself.
to be honest, I think the people is what makes a place. Do you know what I
Of
mean?
course.
You could be in the nicest place in the world, but if you've got nothing there, it doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah. And then people can say whatever they want about our hometown. But in the end of the day, we'll always have that soft spot for it. I took Katie there for the first time a couple of months back before we left. And she's from West Sussex, further down south.
Oh, yeah?
Queen's Country. It's where they filmed it's either Downton or Bridgerton, something like that.
Oh,
Like
right.
literally her area. So you can imagine what that's like.
Dead common, like, yeah.
Yeah, super common. Honestly, I wouldn't walk down those streets at night.
Honestly, yeah, you got to look over your shoulder, man.
Yeah. But I brought her over the first time, and I'm walking around as if this feels like home. It feels normal, and she's walking around with her arms crossed, with a really short gait, and just kind of thinking, like shifting us around, or looking around every corner, scared. I'm thinking, well, you're fine.
Yeah.
This place is lovely. And I say that, and as soon as I say that, we walk around the corner, and there's a couple of homeless people shouting at each other, and I was like, yeah, it just that happens. Just
Don't worry, they only hurt each other.
Yeah, we're perfectly fine. They're the defenders of the realm. If anything.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's very true.
But yeah, and then you get that different from everywhere you go, though. But I don't know. It's home is home, regardless of wherever you are. So even when you are off in San Antonio, and you're gonna absolutely have an amazing time and love it, and you're speaking to your friends who are coming out to visit, you're still gonna want to head back maybe not every year, but every couple of years, to come
Yeah.
back and see all the favourites.
Well, certainly around Christmas, that'll be a big one for me.
Yeah, but then
Christmas is one of my favourite times of the year anyway. I've always been I'm family orientated anyway, the best of times, but certainly at Christmas because it was a very special time growing up.
do you have a big family?
So, no, very small. So I've got no brothers, no sisters, anything like that. So growing up, Christmas Day and all over the Christmas period, it was me, my mum, and my dad.
So it was
So,
all about you.
yeah.
All about you.
So,
No wonder you love Christmas so much.
yeah.
It's like, what,
I
a
promise
second
I'm not a
birthday? All of this for me?
Because I'm like Macaulay Culkin on I was like, a large cheese pizza just for me.
Oh, guys, Santa, you shouldn't have. Oh,
Love
so
it.
did you have all the immediate family come over as well then?
No, to be honest, I mean, certainly over Christmas, we just didn't really go anywhere or do anything. And until I got a bit older, um, I pretty much just stayed in all over the Christmas period with my parents. And then now I still do plenty of staying in over the Christmas period, but Boxing Day, for example, I'll go out and have a few drinks with the lads and that because, we stayed in the night before, and it's just basically like it's like Christmas Day with your mates, Boxing Day, that one. So
Yeah. I mean, at our age as well, when we come through, obviously when you're younger, that 16, 17 years old, you don't necessarily go out too much around Christmas. So you're just with your family anyway. But then when you start getting to that drinking age, we all started going out to, like, Levi had his gigs on the Christmas Eve and Boxing Day, whenever it might be. You had your gigs as well.
yeah.
And then from there, you'd always go out and, let's be honest, we've all ruined a few Christmas dinners just by basically only being there, barely even in spirit.
Yeah.
We were there. It was practically one of Scrooge's ghosts were there.
I've ruined Christmas dinner by drowning in the mash.
Yeah, that's it. We've all been there for it. And then taking that a step forward is that because everyone's actually home for Christmas. Everyone from that age when everyone's off at university or jobs around the country, and then it's like, oh, everyone's actually back. So you don't mind losing out on a Christmas dinner or two at that age because all your friends are back again for the first time all year, pretty much.
Pretty
All
much.
in one place.
Yeah.
But I love the feeling of it. I love the feeling of it too. I'm very family orientated. I know some people who on their Christmas it's just another day, and to be honest with you, just sit there and they're not really interested in the whole thing. But you create your own routines, your own traditions, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, big time.
Do you have any local family? We'll say local. Do you have any immediate family traditions which aren't sort of mainstream, just things that you guys do every Christmas?
Do you know what? I do. So every Christmas Eve, me and my mum and my dad watch Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So
just that one never mixes up.
no, but there is a reason. So
That's the first one, isn't it?
yes, it is. Yeah. So basically, when I was a kid, because my dad's a paramedic, so when I was growing up, because my dad hadn't been in the job for that long in comparison to how long he's been in it now,
Yeah.
it was one of those where he had to work a lot of Christmases. So he either was working days on Christmas Day or he was working nights on Christmas Day. He was working at some point
Yeah.
all over the Christmas period. So I don't think he had like a Christmas Day off until I was about 7. And obviously we always made the best of it. But in 2001, sorry, no, so 6. So in 2001, we went to the cinema because my dad had Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and Boxing Day off for the first time in my life. So we decided to go
You couldn't have been
to.
that old. 2001.
I was 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was 6. Well, I'm 29 this July. So I think we decided to go to the cinema, and this Harry Potter had come out, and no one knew what it was. Well, we didn't anyway. And then we went to Pizza Hut, and then we went to watch Harry Potter. And I think my parents were very much of the persuasion that it was like, well, this is very much for Jake and nothing else. It's just go watch your kids film at Christmas and then we'll come home and it'll be nice. Well, my parents absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved it. And then we give them had a lot of it's based around Christmas as well, the first one. Like there's always snow on the ground.
Yeah.
And then when we came out of the cinema, there was a thick blanket of snow on the ground and there wasn't when we went in. It had been raining. So it was like always an amazing memory, really. So
It was
from then on,
magical.
say again.
It was magical.
Oh, big time, yeah. It actually was. So, yeah, from then on, we've always watched Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone either on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
So it's always been, I love that. So everyone always has those, well, not everyone, but a lot of people have those sort of ones where it's just your family. And that's where everyone always talks, and you see in the movies of the Christmas traditions, which are like the standard ones throughout everywhere. Like a lot of Americans especially have that, right? Open up your pajamas as a Christmas present on Christmas Eve and whatnot. Some people open their presents on Christmas Eve and then have Christmas Day completely like with no presents whatsoever.
Yeah,
like everyone always has those
presents they've opened.
Yeah, but then I think the biggest thing you get from that, especially when you're having with family and creating your own families as well, when you've got the partner and the children coming up, there's having those own traditions you stick to, and that you just keep and create yourself. Like for us, every year without fail, we always have obviously you have the books. We have the books in the morning, well, the standard one. Then we also always have salmon and cream cheese bagels every morning.
That, don't get me wrong, that sounds awesome. But you sound dead posh now, you know.
It's like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah. In the morning we have Bucks Fizz with caviar.
You know, a little bit of salmon. I was like, oh, I thought you were from Mayans. No.
I was going to say. I swear we only grew up about a mile down the road from each other.
But it's just something that
I have a bottle of Stella and a black eye on Christmas morning.
If I was lucky, I only got one black eye.
Is that when you didn't cure the salmon properly?
I got waxed with the stocking. Yeah, no, that's just something I think probably because my mum probably saw it on TV at some point and was like, oh, that'd be nice. Why can't we be more like that? And then she made a point to try and make us more like that. And now she can't stop doing it because we all like it so much.
Do you know what we had for a starter on Christmas Day? And I told my mate about this, and he was like, you should be jailed. I went, whoa. We had broccoli.
There's a lot of things you should be jailed for, Jake.
Yeah, but
as soon as you get caught for one thing, everything else is going to start coming out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I knew I shouldn't have mentioned that. Yeah, we had broccoli and Stilton soup.
That's
amazing.
Shall I say that? Was it?
It was banging.
Is your mum a good cook? Or was your dad? Whoever cooks?
Well, they both are, actually. My dad did the soup, and then my mum did the Christmas dinner.
Do you cook much?
Sometimes. To be honest, I think, because I'm a bit of a control freak. So, like, if I ever cook, I mostly do it when my mum and dad aren't there. Because I hate the thought of, me start cooking and then my mum and dad will put something in my way or they'll stand there and watch me or something like that. And I get dead stressed out.
You turn full Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, yeah, big time. I'm there turning around going, oh, big boy. Fuck off, yeah.
Well, winging pots and pans at your mum's forehead because she just...
Big time.
She put the,
I'm there slapping
because she put the salt away.
I'm there slapping my mum with pieces of bread, calling her idiot sandwich and stuff. What are you?
How I ever grew into a full-grown man is beyond me with the food you're serving up, Mum.
Yeah.
So I had one of my favourite insults. I had one of my favourite insults beforehand.
Why did the chicken cross the road? Because you didn't fucking cook it.
It's like you just walk up, you go up to somebody who's like, obviously, if you're a lanky streak of piss, or they're just a little bit straight, and she's like, fucking hell, you look like you grew up on undercooked chicken nuggets.
Yeah,
Oh,
The one as well, he says, that's dead good. He goes, there's chickens that, no, what is it? No. Oh, that's it. There's chickens that undercooked a skilled vet could still save it.
I'm gonna have to move away from food because I'm starving. It's still only 7:30 in the morning, and I haven't had breakfast
Oh,
yet.
wow. Get those cream cheese bagels down your bud.
I wish. Do you know, I would fucking kill for some oatcakes. Love some
Oh, bud.
oatcakes.
I'll send you some DXL Express.
Oh, please. Please do. Do you know, I don't know, it's not in Texas. Oh, sorry, John Manor. We'll get onto it later. I had out here the other day. Do you know, obviously in the UK, curry is just, it's so nice, and it's basically a staple of like the
Absolutely.
takeout food. You do it out here in Australia. And I was warned previously, because there was another English guy, my boss at the moment, I said, "Oh, do you know where I can get a good curry out here?" And he goes, "No, you won't bother, mate. Don't worry. Don't bother, mate. It's not going to happen. Not out here." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." And I tried one for the first time the other night, and it was absolutely vile. Vile. It was gross. Honestly, it tasted like tomato soup.
Oh, no.
Like, I always like trying different curries, spicy curries, and all sorts. I like spice, I like variety. Whenever
Yeah,
I go
me
to my
too.
local at home, because I just don't want the same thing all the time. But I come out here and I
You've got
thought,
to
you know,
have
I'm going to have
traditional
one.
English food like pizza or Chinese, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Pizza, Chinese, curry. Come on.
Exactly.
Mackey's
That's
breakfast.
traditional English food, mate.
Yeah. So I went and I just had a Rogan Josh, which is like tomato based anyway.
Yeah.
Not very spicy, because I thought I haven't had spice in a long time. I haven't had a curry in a long time, and I don't fancy being up all night.
Yeah. It's basically a laxative for you if you haven't had it in that long.
Exactly. So I thought, oh, okay, I can't wait. It's going to be gorgeous. And then, so I started off, we had the onion barges. Bit into them. They were crunchy, they were oily, a little bit salty. They were absolutely gorgeous. Like, oh my God, yes. And that's when we were driving back to the spot. So we're driving back, we're just like, you know, you always can't help yourself but wait. You can't wait until you get home. You've got to have something, whether it be like from any takeaway or from a Mackey's. You're like, I've got to have some chips before I get back. It's just sitting there and it
Nice.
fills the car up with a nice smell. So I had the onion barges, and he was gorgeous. Like, oh my God, I can't wait for this. I had a bit of naan bread, garlic naan. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be so good. Got him out the tub. Firstly, the tub of rice was bigger than the tub of curry, which was a big, all right, red
That's
flag.
a red flag, isn't it?
That's a red flag straight away. Pilau rice. And I don't know how you normally have your pilau rice. I just certainly don't have mine with peas and sultanas.
Oh, God.
No, it was like, okay, whatever. We'll get to it. And then, so I put that into the bowl first. Take out the curry, pour the curry into the bowl, and it was right quality. It looked nice. It looked okay. Chicken tikka. But I noticed straight away, hang on, there's no substance here. It's just chicken and sauce. There's no onions. There's no peppers. There's nothing else. It's like, oh, okay, whatever then.
No.
And then always for myself, so that poured down top. That was all right. Dipped in the garlic naan first into the sauce, give it a little taster, and straight into my mouth. I was like, I've basically just dipped garlic bread into tomato soup. It tasted exactly like a tin of Heinz tomato soup, and I've never been so disappointed in my entire life.
Oh, that's such a letdown as well.
It was
because everyone loves a good curry. Well, apparently, except Australia.
Oh God, they don't know what a good curry is. It was like £25 as well. I was gutted.
No.
I was absolutely gutted because there was a pizza place next door which we know for a fact is fire, and we've got there and I've sunk into this curry and I've sat there the whole time. Katie's enjoying hers somehow. I didn't like it. I wasn't much for it. But I'm more of a curry connoisseur. She likes hers. I tried it. I wasn't a massive fan, and I've sat there the whole time after every mouthful, just complaining, like, for fuck's sake. I'm so annoyed. It's just so shit. I'm still eating it. I'm starving, and I've paid for it. I'm like, this is awful. I don't want it. And I finished it, obviously.
Wow.
But
mate, for 25 quid, mate, I would have done.
I'm not going back again.
No.
And then the worst part was, the most depressing part of the whole thing was, I was still up all night.
Oh, no, you weren't.
I know.
Those tomatoes must have been off.
Yeah. You go to the only place which had the tin of soup was gone off. Honestly,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
I was I was fuming
Oh,
because I love
to be
my food.
honest,
I love my
I,
food.
I feel your second-hand devastation,
You
like
can,
big
I
time.
hope it comes through. You can feel the passion in my voice with this.
Oh, it has come through. In fact, I'm going to be up all night.
Just thinking about it, second-hand despair.
I'm going to be up all night with the second-hand trots.
Oh, gross, great, gross, great, gross. Beautiful. Oh, let's be honest. Okay, but we're on food now. I'm going to stay on food because I do really want to know. I really want to talk about it. How excited are you for those like proper dirty American hot dogs, burgers, pizzas? Oh,
Wow, it's funny you should say
oh
that, man.
my
I went Hickory's
god.
last night in Crewe,
Ooh. Yeah, I know the one.
um, and I was like, I was just in the mood, so I went, come on, let's go. So I went and I had like this whole platter to myself. I had like the
Full
bacon
barbecue.
bits. Oh, big time, man, big time. I think I ate half a farmyard. Um, it was it was just dead nice. Everything had like this proper nice rub on it, and it was just banging. And then by the end of
Yeah,
it, I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like, oh, like we did make plans. We were like, right, we'll go Hickory's, and then maybe we'll go out for a couple of drinks after. Well, after I smashed three
No.
courses and half of Carolina, I think I just went, yeah, sorry lads, I'm gonna
Sorry,
go home,
that's me. That's me. You've kicked your feet up on the side of on the chairs. It's like, right, that's it for
mate.
me.
It got to something Saturday night. I got home. My parents were just going out around a couple of friends' houses, and they went, "Do you want to come with us? Have a few drinks?" I went, "No, I'm knackered. I'll be in bed within the hour."
Oh,
So
I
my
love those
parents
nights though.
went out drinking, and I went to bed.
Oh, I love it. I love that from your parents. That's it. Oh, do you know, I've been getting that. Do you know, last time I had Hickory's. Oh, you'll love this. I'll have to send you the video. Oh no, it's on my old phone. I don't know if I can find it somewhere. Last time I went Hickory's, probably about a year ago. Actually, no, it was Levi's birthday. It was Levi's birthday.
Oh yeah,
So we went up, and I was just feeling a little bit silly. So I went to. I don't think it's actually something that they do, but they were awesome people, and they came out and they obliged to it. So when I went up to order some drinks or to the bathroom, whatever it might be, I just snuck around and spoke to the guys around the corner from our table. So Levi and I think also Spud. Yeah, Levi, Spud, and was Cam there? I can't remember. And I understand. Okay, so it's my mate's birthday. I know you might not do it, and you might look a little bit old, but please, can you give him the whole birthday shebang? Do you come out and do a song, anything like
hey,
that? We'll
it's not
tip
that
you,
kind of
whatever it
place,
might
Bale.
be. But please, can you all come out, sing him a song? I'll leave a nice tip for you guys. I think I did. I think I did as well. It wasn't chatting up my arse.
Nice.
And so as they brought out the dessert at the end, so I didn't. This was right at the beginning. I asked, "Can you do it with the dessert?" Because I know what he's gonna have. He's gonna have dessert. Pop a candle in it. The other one is sparkle candles as well. And the person behind the bar, she looked at
Put a
me and she winks. And
firecracker in it.
she looks at me, she winks, and she goes, "We got you covered." I was like, "Yes, yes." And I'm just trying to hide my smirk for the rest of the whole time. At the
Yeah.
end, it wasn't just her. It wasn't just whoever brought the cake. Every single member of staff came out. It was like 5 or 10 people came out, and they're all standing there, and they're all singing like happy. It's like a version of Happy Birthday. Like, so you know when you go Frankie and Benny's and they have their own birthday stuff. It was
Yeah.
like that. And they brought it out. as soon as they start singing, Levi looks up, sees them, he's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" Head straight down, wishing that his food could swallow him.
I love
I
those
was like,
moments as well. I remember years ago I embarrassed an ex-girlfriend. We went to Frankie's and Benny's, and then there was a table next to us, and it was obviously their birthday, and they'd done something similar. And then like the staff came over and was like, "Happy birthday," and she just turned and looked at me as if to go, "No." And then next minute I'm up going, "Happy."
he said, arms out wide, "Happy birthday."
I was like, "It's my time."
I've been practicing so long. All those gigs is in preparation for
Yeah,
this moment.
this is the main reason I got into music.
Just for now. I did it with Katie. What's the place in Trenton? One of the Paragon Group ones. What's it called?
Oh yeah, Willow.
Willow. Yeah, Willow. Yeah. So we'd been out around Trenton. She'd been off. I think it was that same time. The first time she came to Stoke, so I didn't want to just show her the really good places like we're used to. I wanted to show her the really, really good places like Trenton.
Nice.
Yeah, and
So
we
basically,
sat
got
down
Blackstone
outside
and
Willow.
Trenton Boston.
Yeah. And we sat down at Willow, and we'd ordered drinks and whatnot, so we couldn't even leave. So I made sure we'd ordered drinks first. And I'd stood up on the table, and there's a few people outside as well. And I started singing, "You are so beautiful to me." Stood up on the side, and its arms out wide, and just progressively got louder. And like, you sort of turn around to everyone else who's nearby, and it's like, "Come on, join in." No one did,
Yeah.
and she's just
Come
sunk
on,
into her
everyone,
hands.
all together.
All together now, like it's a flash mob of just one. That's the dream, that
Oh,
one day you do it and then everyone else joins in as if it was organised.
fantastic. I love
I
that.
was always,
There's
I
nothing
always
better than
thought
a
of
good old
doing,
embarrassing moment, isn't there?
yeah, we've always pulled the "it's a birthday" thing. Can we get a little something at the restaurant when it's not the birthday?
Oh yeah, big
Or,
time. I mean, my friend Harvey, he used to well, I say used to, but he used to pull these pranks on me all the time. I remember one day, I think we were going cinema. We were in school at the time. I think we were about 15, and it was a weekend, and we were supposed to be meeting up with about 10 of the lads that we knew, and we were supposed to be all going Pizza Hut, then going to the cinema. So me and Harvey,
those days. I love those days.
yeah, those days, man, they were good. So it was like, we hadn't eaten all day and we were in Castle anyway. And then we got a text from pretty much everybody saying, listen, we can't make Pizza Hut, but we can make the cinema. So me and Harvey went, we're starving, so we'll go Pizza Hut.
Screw
So
you guys, I'll have yours.
yeah, exactly. So we went into Pizza Hut, and this woman, the server walks up, and Harvey goes, a table for two, please. So I thought, that looks a bit, you know.
Oh, come on. Grow up.
so,
How old are you, to be fair?
we're about 15, yeah.
Okay, maybe that's a little bit that age as well.
Yeah, exactly.
That could have changed
So,
the direction of your life right then.
wow, to be honest, mate, we we sat down and I
I've
turned
never
to
stared
Harvey and
so
went,
intently into somebody else's eyes.
yeah, never. And I went, do you think this looks a bit fruity? He goes, no, don't worry about it, mate, don't worry. So I went, right, okay, yeah, sound, no problem. So the woman comes over and goes, do you know what you'd like to drink? And Harvey looks at me and goes, darling, what would you like to drink? I went, no. I went, no. And then he goes, you do this every time, you never appreciate me, throw his napkin and storms off. I'm just sat there in a full restaurant with my head in my hands.
Oh, I love them. I love those.
Mortified.
That's pure British culture right there.
Big time.
How can you embarrass your friends? How can you embarrass your friends in the most annoying way possible?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
he did it pretty
still
well.
love that. Yeah, especially at that age as well. I mean, it's so funny when you see that, especially, well, everyone does it, every lad does it, especially in the UK at that age, where it's like the worst thing you could possibly be being seen as. Because it would have been, for some reason, so catastrophic for your global image.
Yeah, because at the time you're thinking, hang on, will all the birds believe this?
It's not just being a homosexual. It's a homosexual who was rejected by another guy.
Yeah, one that he'd known for, at the time, 15 years.
I think it sounds like it might have hurt a little bit.
Well, do you know what? It wasn't even a real thing, but it still came keen.
Never dealt well with rejection.
No, never.
Fuck you, Sandra.
For someone that's had a lot of it.
Well, I feel like someone like yourself. That sounds like I'm setting up a punchline here. I'm really not. Obviously, with your music, you did or still do periodically now. When it comes to dealing with that rejection, people have to deal with it in different ways, and it's obviously Levi as well. People who perform well on stage with their music or comedy, whatever it might be, they seem to develop a very thick skin.
Mm-hmm.
But then also deal with a lot of it through humour.
Yeah,
and like that's something I learned as well for myself. From a younger age, I learned for myself, and I know I'm not very funny.
I don't know. I mean, you've certainly made me laugh a lot in your life.
Yeah. But then I learned for myself, right? If things are going sideways, put the joke on myself. Point the joke at me.
Yeah, man, 100.
If I
percent
if I point the joke at me, everyone gets a laugh. I'm fine with it. It's okay. Because I remember the times before I used to do that, where there was like, I'm just going to make things worse. I'm just stirring the pot here because I'm fighting fire with fire. But you've taken away
Yeah.
that ammunition. But then, as a musician, do you have any ways that you deal with that kind of an audience that isn't kind of receptive, or a heckler, or
To be
and how
honest,
not so much
I
how that
think
is with your music, like a music career, but more so how you take those kind of traits into real life when it comes to like a
well,
job application or rejection, or an embarrassing moment, or maybe you've tripped over in the office, or you've spilt your coffee down your front, or something like that.
many a time. Um, I think the main thing to remember is, and I think it's forgotten a hell of a lot in today's society, is when did sticks and stones stop being relevant? You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
the whole moral of it is, he called me an arsehole. Don't worry about it. He's a dick. Do you know what I mean? that's
Yeah.
in a nutshell, that's it. And I think you have to remember that if you're in any kind of, well, to be honest, I think you have to remember that in any walk of life, but especially in anything to do with performing, regardless of what performing it is, because everyone knows full well it's not the easiest thing in the world to do to just step up in front of people and perform and show that you're trying. So I think it's almost common courtesy, even if you didn't think someone was very good, to not be a dick about it. So if someone ever did start being an idiot about it, then that just shows how much of an arsehole they really are.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
common
think it's one of those
common
where never
courtesy.
let the opinion of someone like that get you down.
Yeah, of course. I mean, common courtesy is a lot like common sense, in the
Not
sense
everyone's
that
got it.
it's not common.
Yeah, it's
It's not
true.
common. But then those
Yeah,
skills
so
transfer so well, because you don't do your music so much anymore, because
not as
you've got
much.
more exciting things for yourself and the way you want to take your life. But it's
Yeah.
the traits that you take from that are so valuable in terms of even within the corporate world, where that confidence to be able to speak your mind, to be able to portray yourself in a clear manner, how you want to be
Mm,
perceived, and put across a certain aspect of yourself which might not go seen very often in day-to-day life. So with
mm.
bosses, with colleagues, co-workers within that corporate area, how would you find that that's benefited you now, which you can see other colleagues who may even be better at their job than you are, but don't do so well because you've got these traits and skills?
To be honest, I think in anything that you do, confidence is key. And I think everything that I did musically kind of helped me build confidence in who I am. So
Oh yeah,
it
there's not.
allowed me to learn things about myself. What do I enjoy? What do I enjoy doing? And I know that I enjoy chatting to people. I enjoy making people laugh, and those kind of things. And that's not because I'm some wannabe comedian or anything like that. It's just what brings me joy. So I think it's one of those where in any situation, one of the first things I'll try to do is make somebody laugh, because that is genuinely what I think breaks the ice the best, and I think builds the best kind of relationship between you and anybody else. And I'd say those are the things which kind of correlate when you kind of go into things like working relationships or interviews, because one of the first things to do with that is likability, isn't it?
Yes.
Um, so yeah, I think it kind of helps some people like you. I mean, it'll make some people despise you, but
Oh yeah, but fuck them, they're arseholes.
yeah, exactly. Don't worry about it. He's a dick. That's
Yeah.
going to be my catchphrase from here on out now. If
Don't
anyone
worry
says
about it, he's a
anything about
dick.
anything, don't worry about it. He's a dick.
Or even better, if you accidentally piss someone off, it's like, don't worry about it, I'm a dick.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything I say. My dog starts
Well,
growling at someone. Don't worry about it. She's a dick.
yeah, I actually, well, I agree with a lot of what you said there as well. Like, I'm breaking those walls down, those barriers, especially on first impressions. And the best way I've found for myself to do that is almost be self-deprecating, because I'm quite a
Yes.
imposing figure in terms of like one-to-one, just because I'm taller, basically.
Yeah, I've got the
Because
same
I'm tall.
problem, mate.
Yeah. Just because I'm taller and I can well, I've been told I can come off as a little bit imposing in certain situations. So I kind of straight away, right, if I can put myself down and let other people know that, like, right, I'm not here to kind of be all
Intimidate.
macho and be intimidating and I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy.
I'm not that guy. Only on
I'm not that
Saturday
guy.
nights.
Yeah, on the dance floor.
Yeah.
But then if you can be that guy, and then you can not that guy, but a different guy, then
I'm not that
you can
guy.
open up a lot of doors and just stop them from slamming in your face. But
Yeah,
then for
I think
yourself, though,
so.
it's not many people. Well, say not many people. Very few people who can say they've had the experiences like you have. They've built up those qualities and those. And I say qualities and traits. What I really mean is skills. They're all skills. You don't become funny. Being funny is not a trait. Being confident is not a trait. It's an ability everybody has, but it's a skill that's been acquired through a lifetime of experiences and
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah.
So with yourself, stepping on stage in front of what's probably, like, internationally, fucking millions and millions of
It
people.
was 230 million.
Is that just the final?
That was just the final, yeah.
Okay, so just a little bit of context for anyone. Jake was first on The Voice UK back in, what year was it?
2015.
Yeah, 2015. Jake Shakeshaft. If you want to search that up. And then made it through all the way. Did you get through to the final?
Blind audition, the battle, and the knockout. And then went
Okay,
out.
so from the knockout, which in its own right, from that point there, that kind of exposure, that kind of fear that would be trembling through my whole skeleton would be incredible. But then from
It was
there,
interesting.
you were then talented enough, and somebody saw the potential to pair you up with, what was his name?
Joe.
Who? Sorry,
Joe.
Joe. With Joe, and then you guys were then representative of for UK, Great Britain, on Eurovision,
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
and
2016.
that's a whirlwind. So going on to that, what we were saying there, just a little bit of backstory on that. Stepping on in front of, obviously you had the experience on TV beforehand, so let's just take it back a little bit. So that first time stepping onto the stage for The Voice, how did you feel stepping onto the stage?
I was shitting myself. Absolutely shitting myself. Because it was one of those where I would have been really, really, really nervous anyway, but it was my first ever performance without a guitar. Um,
Yeah,
like anywhere. I hadn't even like sang in a pub without a guitar. I'd never even done karaoke. Like I'd gigged and stuff like that before, but I'd never ever performed without a guitar. And this was the first time. So I was naturally nervous about that anyway. And then I ended up with tonsillitis about 4 days before the audition.
oh,
And
what?
and it was literally like that bad that I could barely even talk. Like it was so bad. And it was a lot better when on the day of the audition. But when it comes to singing, like I'll be able to get some of my notes out. But as soon as I went to go for some of the higher stuff, like my voice had just completely cut out. And I was like, oh no, I'm going to make such an idiot of myself on telly. But I was like, I'm still going to have to do it because, how many times you get an opportunity to do this, really?
Yeah, of
So
course.
I did it, and don't get me wrong, it was by no stretch of the imagination one of my best performances, but I was
Well,
lucky
that's what I
enough
mean.
to be able to get through.
I've heard you sing before a few times, a lot of times. When we're talking about a few times, and listening back to you, because I know that people. I didn't know you back then.
No,
You're just a couple of years older than me. So I didn't watch The Voice, didn't know anything of that beforehand. Well, I know you could sing better than that from what I'd seen on the recordings and on the clip, because I'd heard you sing and I was like, either you've just got a lot better over the past few years, No, that's not to say the performance was bad. It wasn't bad at all. It was great. It was really
No,
good.
no, no. I mean,
But then again, you
no,
are
no. To be honest, mate, I mean,
an amazing singer anyway.
still to this day, I don't like listening to it back because every single one of my performances on The Voice, as far as I'm concerned, is like a culmination of throat issues and massive amount of nerves.
Yeah, and that would be. I mean, I couldn't imagine it. I'm quite a confident, outspoken person. Like I can do it in like with friends, people, and anything like that. But then I've had those moments where I think, oh yeah, I'm going to be great. I'll be fine. Where I've had to go up and do a presentation or a speech or anything like that, and then I'm like, I'll say beforehand, yeah, I'm fine. I'll do it. I'll raise my hand. I'll come up and do it and speak at socials or events and whatnot. Then as soon as I step up onto that stage, I'm like, oh my god, my knees, like that week between the knees feeling is a real thing. Beforehand, you don't
It
really
really
realize,
is,
do you? It's
isn't
like,
it?
oh shit, I feel like I'm about to fall over. I feel like my legs are just
Yeah.
going to snap in half.
It's like
And
your
I was
legs
like,
aren't
oh
strong
god.
enough to hold you anymore.
Yeah, so like you'll always, I don't know if you've noticed, whenever you see people, especially on auditions, when they walk onto the stage, as soon as they stand behind the mic or they stand to do a talk or anything it might be, they get that kind of that look in the face where the eyes roll
Yeah.
upwards, the head tilts down. It's like, oh god, what is that? Like they've
This is
just gone over the
happening.
top of it. Yeah, it's like they're just going over the edge of a roller coaster. It's like, fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
And then like you can tend to crumble a bit, but then even through that performance you did there, it got better and better throughout the performance, and as you started feeling it more and having a little bit of a sway to your stance.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I mean, it was a little funny thing as well because basically, do you know on when you watch on tally and then whenever somebody presses the button to turn, it goes.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't do that in real life.
I thought it might not.
No, so obviously, just in case he puts off the singer or anything like that, those sounds are put in post production. So
The lights
at
and
the
stuff are all there,
time,
though, I'll take it.
pardon?
So when you go on stage, the lights are all there. Is it an actual stage, as in
Yeah,
a performance
yeah,
stage, or is
yeah,
it
it is.
more so just a movie set, a TV set?
Well, it is just a big TV set, but it is still a stage, and there is still quite a decent audience.
Yeah.
So it is. It's one of those. I mean, when I Will pressed the button when I was on the show, and
Will I am, yeah.
yeah, and if you go back and have a look at it, the relief in my face is is a different gravy. Like I was like,
Yeah.
ugh. And then at the end, because I'd
I
never
would have
watched the show
loved to have
before,
heard the jokes that would have
everyone
come out of
started
you on that
turning.
mic afterwards. I know. I would have
Oh
loved to have
God!
heard the jokes that would have come out of you. They would have been the best jokes ever if you would have got no one to turn around, because that rejection would have fueled some grade A comedy.
Oh, big time, honestly. I mean, none of them would have been able to sleep that night, and it wasn't because they shared your curry.
Oh, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
They've had your
Oh, anyway.
tandoori tomato soup.
Anyway, fuck you. Oh, but yeah, so that from there, that was obviously Will turned around, and then that trajectory from where you were, I can imagine, because we went to the same school.
Mm-hmm.
We know a lot of the same people, and I'm just imagining what that would have been like, walking around. What year were you born again?
1995.
Oh, I would have been there, just in like year 7 or 8.
Yeah, well, I was
When you were doing it.
19 at the time.
Never mind. Sorry, I was thinking. Yeah, never mind. I was thinking, like you said it was 2015, 2016. In my head, I'm thinking, oh, I was 15, 16. I was like, of course not. Yeah, it's still
No,
early.
no,
Still early.
I think you would have been about 15.
I would have been at high school. I was coming to the end of it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, there, I'm just imagining what it would have been like around our hometown anyway, of having all those people come up to you now and everyone's seeing you, everyone knows you, everyone's. Is it a lot of pressure?
I think the most difficult thing about the whole situation was because I used to work. I was in college and I was working part time in Trenton, funnily enough, and it was one of those where I left both of those things to pursue music, and in the end, it was a good decision because I ended up on The Voice and that kind of thing. But when you're on The Voice and you're recording things, I mean, I recorded my blind audition in September and it wasn't aired until January. So I had those months of already signing a
Oh shit.
non-disclosure agreement, and I couldn't tell anybody anything. So I had people who I went to college with and used to work with who were seeing me out and about going, "Oh, so what you up to?" And I couldn't tell them the truth. I couldn't tell them what I was doing. And all of a sudden, there were so many people looking at me going, as if
Could
to
you not
go,
even
"Wasn't
tell
really a
them that
good
you had the
decision, was
audition?
it?" I'd had the audition by then, and I was through. And I already
Well,
knew that.
but could you tell them that you had the
No,
audition?
no,
Not anything, not just whether you made it or not. You couldn't tell them that you're even on the show.
no.
Oh,
You have to sign an NDA.
okay. I thought it was just a case of you can't tell people whether or not you made it through or not.
No, you can't tell people you're on it until it is announced.
Got you. Oh right. That's
So basically, the week
that I
before.
couldn't do it. I could not do that. I'm great at secrets. I'm terrible at holding back excitement.
Oh
I'll
yeah, it was very
walk
difficult.
around the corners like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Got to tell you this, guys.
Yeah.
And then for that bubbling up the whole time, so you'd quit your jobs because of that going on, or was it
Yeah.
after the audition was aired?
No, I quit my jobs before any of that was going on. So I quit my jobs to follow music full time, and then after I'd made this decision, I got the opportunity to go on The Voice.
Got you. Okay. So,
But nobody could ever. Whenever I saw anybody and they asked me, "Oh, so what you up to then? How's the music going?" I couldn't tell them the extent of the things that I was doing. So all of a sudden, I had people looking at me like I'd made a mistake, and then
yeah.
I had to message them when everything got aired.
Oh wow. Yeah, because I remember when I was with my ex Liv, she did an audition for The Voice.
Really?
She she does a singer songwriting stuff as well, guitar stuff. But it wasn't an audition, the live audition. We had to go down to the Oval in
Yeah, there's
London
a lot of auditions.
to do the preemptive one, and then
Oh
we were there
God.
all freaking day, all day. And it was
Yeah.
me and her dad, Brad, decided to go walk around London for a bit. It was like we ain't staying here all day, and
Yeah.
it was the boring thing ever. But then when it came down to it, saying that we were from Stoke and knowing of her parents' separation, so she got through the actual vocal side of things, the singing side of things. She passed that, and they accepted a free room. But from what she told me afterwards, is they were just begging for a sob story. They were saying about how do you feel that your parents' separation is having had a massive effect on your life and how you sing and the things you like to sing about, and do you feel disadvantaged being from the area that you're from, and all these different things which completely unrelated to the music.
Mm.
And you obviously see
Oh,
that, you've always seen on like the X Factors and Voices, not so much anymore, but beforehand there's always a lot of a sob story, at least a couple of sob stories, where
oh
they
yeah.
want to be able to make a story of it. And she just wasn't giving it to him. Yeah, she's had these things happen, and from personally being from Stoke isn't a disadvantage. It's not an advantage, it's not a disadvantage. But she just wasn't giving it to him. She was like, she turned around straight to him and said, "No, it's fine. I'm fine. I'm happy. I like it. I like my music. I like to play and perform. I love my hometown." And from there, they were like, at the end, straight away at the end of the interview, turned around to her and said, "Okay, yeah, we've heard enough. Thank you." Because she just wasn't giving it to them, so therefore she couldn't go on. Because she is a
All of a
really,
sudden, you don't make
really
voting
talented.
material, do you?
Yeah, so she was a really talented singer. Oh, you've heard her play before, haven't you?
I have, yeah. She is very
Yeah.
good.
And then from there, she just didn't make it on because of that. So it's like, whoa, okay, whatever. So did you have any of that kind of stuff? Because you had to do all the pre-interviews and stuff
Um,
like that.
I was quite lucky, really, because I I went on The Voice when it was still the BBC, and the BBC are, well, in my experience, a lot more humane than say ITV, for example. Um,
Yeah,
I think
true. Not
I
all
think
about the
the
money.
yeah, and also as well, I think they kind of show you a little bit more due diligence than anything else. So, for example, like when I went off The Voice, like when I was kind of voted out, um, I just wanted to go home with my parents that night, but I couldn't. Everyone who didn't get through had to stop in the same hotel, and that's because the next day we had to go for like a meeting with a therapist and that kind of stuff, just to make sure that
Oh,
things hadn't affected you too badly.
that's
Um,
quite nice of them
which
then.
it is in a certain description. I mean, I've mentioned that to some people, and they've been a bit like, bloody hell. And I'm like, yeah, well, at the same time, I mean, people are different walks of life, aren't they? I mean, I was really,
Yeah.
really young at the time. I was like, don't get me wrong, I'd like to consider myself as young now, but, I was like
At
19
that
at the
age,
time.
you
So,
at that age, you especially quitting your jobs to do music and thinking this is it, I'm about to take off, and then to be just dropped off the edge of a cliff, like okay, it's over.
well, the thing is, I mean, the way I kind of describe it is, I was 19, so regardless of how difficult it was being off the show, because I've been involved in it for a while and it was really exciting, I knew that if I worked hard enough, there would be more opportunities. And now I had the opportunity and the platform to try and do something else with it.
Which is
Where
great.
you could also have people who are like 45, 50 years old, they've been trying their entire adult life to make it in music. And this was like the last opportunity that they saw themselves as having before they called it a day. So I suppose for people like that, those these meetings kind of make sense.
Well, I suppose back in 2015, 16 as well, that was really kind of the turning point for when everything started going ultra, um, ultra not PG. What's the word? Sort of ultra obsessive about
OTT.
people's mental health and yeah, OTT, yeah, ultra obsessive about how people felt and how they were going on with the mental health as well, which has its positives and its negatives, of course. But
Yeah.
think from there, we're talking things like Love Island, where
Oh
from
God,
that
I hate
stage,
that show.
but then the amount of people who've ended up taking their own lives, and even the
Yeah.
presenter, where they've
Yeah.
had all this massive fame all of a sudden. And back then, reality TV shows, and again, when they were searching show TV in general, searching for those sob stories, searching for those, let's be honest, in some cases, nut cases,
Yeah.
to get for the views, for the show, for the TV, where these people are clearly not the most stable and comfortable in their own lives, and now you're putting all this in front of them. It's like giving a drug addict a winning lottery ticket, and what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah. Exactly. They're going to
And then
overindulge.
yeah, so having that at the time, I can understand them saying, I put a few of your mates and stuff saying, "Oh, why are they doing that stuff? It's like it's not necessary, especially for someone like, well, as we know, or well, what we thought we know, someone like yourself who's on top of things, they've got a good steady head on the shoulders, and so on." But then,
Mm.
really, if that happened now and you left those shows without having those kind of fallback sort of procedures, there'd be uproar
Yeah.
and all the things
Absolutely.
that could happen because of that. But you dealt with it well
Absolutely.
though, so you would have had the big crash after coming out. Obviously, you've still got the notoriety, and that buzz is still. It's not going to disappear out of nowhere. It's not going to just fall off the edge of a cliff. It's going to steady itself down. So, then, how did you feel in that period there, and how long was it before Eurovision came knocking?
So it was probably about 7 or 8 months before I was back, basically down in London, working towards something, and then things were very much full speed ahead for the next 2 years. Um, Pretty much 18 months to 2 years. But yeah, I probably had about 6 or 7 relatively quiet months. Um, so I was still doing some interesting gigs because as soon as you're on something like The Voice or X Factor or Britain's Got Talent, for like the next 12 months after that until the next lot go on, you kind of like hot property for like gigs. So like if anybody wants to put a show on, wants to put any kind of show on with any kind of social relevance, they try and go for people who've been on those shows that year.
Yeah.
And then as soon as people go on it the year after, then they completely forget about those people and they go for them. That's just
Mm.
how it works. You've recycled very quickly. But that year
That
was
roundabout.
pretty busy. Yeah, yeah, definitely. But that year was still pretty busy. Um, And to be honest, it's a good job it was, because Joe, who I ended up doing Eurovision with, he was on The Voice at the same time as me on a
Was he?
different
I didn't
team.
know
That's
that.
that's how we met.
Oh, okay. So how did that
So
kind of? So with Joe, obviously as well. I didn't know he was on The Voice at the same time. To be honest with you, I didn't know who he was.
yeah,
um.
he's a semi-finalist.
Yeah. So you guys together worked really well, and you had that kind of boy band charm to you as well. How were those
Well,
times? Were you kind of forced together, or was it kind of an option for you to come together? How did the actual, when they came knocking Eurovision and said, right, we want you to do this, was it a team of people who came across and said, right, we've got so many people, it's a short list? Is it like an interview? Or is it more of a
well,
case of, right, we want you to do this, and you said, oh, can my mate Joe do this with me? Or,
it was it was a little bit of, it was a natural but slightly unnatural thing. So, as I say, after you've been on those shows for the next 12 months, they hire you for everything. People hire you for everything. And me and Joe found ourselves doing a lot of the same gigs together, separately, but on the same bill, because, you know, people would try and
yeah,
hire people off The Voice and this, that, whatever. So we did a lot of the same shows. And by then, we chatted all of our friends and family's ears off about this because we were so excited about it. So
yeah,
whenever we met up, it was one of those where we were two people who could sit there and talk about the whole experience without ever getting bored or annoyed of it. So we just started
well,
meeting up a
that
lot
shared
more.
experience as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to have those
Um,
memories and those experiences nobody else has ever had. Even the people who've done The Voice on previous years, you did it together.
yeah. So it was one of those where, like, we started meeting up more and we were doing some singing together. And then one day I got an email from somebody saying, they work for this company, this company, this company, and they'd like me to come down to London and audition. And I was like, audition for what? And they were like,
Shakeshaft does
well.
not do auditions, sir.
So I was like, audition for what? And they were like, well, we can't really tell you at the moment. I was like, well, this sounds a bit weird. So I
It's
bought,
actually
I
you
bought
get
the,
there and it's a casting couch.
yeah, for all I know, it was like gay porn or some shit. So, so, uh, so naturally, I brought my dad along with me.
Oh,
So we went
the
into
ex
it.
pro.
Yeah, I needed advice from the best.
Oh,
Um,
give me a breather. Give me a breather.
so we went to this rehearsal room, which was great. Um, and as we walked in the room, I saw Joe, and I went, "What are you
Oh,
doing
no
here?"
way.
And he went, "What are you doing here?" And it turns out they'd invited loads of people, and they'd invited me and Joe separately, not knowing that we were doing a bit of work together. And then we decided not to mention anything. And then after we both auditioned, they said to me, "How would you feel about working as part of a duo?" And I went, "Well, it's funny you should say that, really, because Joe, you've invited along as well." And yeah, I went, "We've been working as a duo." And they went, "That's exactly who we wanted you to work with."
Beautiful.
So
That's
synergy.
how it just kind of works around. I was hoping you were going to say then we both walked into the room. Joe walked in first, and he's already on his knees, and I walk in. They tell me to take my top off.
Yeah, he walked in. I whipped the boy out.
Your dad said, "That's it, Jake. Just like I showed you."
20 years in the making, this son.
Work the mic. Work the mic.
And don't forget the shaft.
Oh dear. That's ace then. So from there, you again sharing that experience with him and going through that together. Did they give you the songs you had to do, or were you just doing stuff together then from the get go,
Well,
practicing your own stuff?
basically, after going down and meeting up a few times and doing some more auditions, they basically divulged to us that it was Eurovision that they wanted us to go for. So at first we were a bit like,
So
I don't know.
you still went to these auditions without knowing what it was for. Okay.
Sometimes you've just got a chance, haven't you? And it's a good job I did in the end, because I could have gone, nah, it's a bit too ropey, that is. And then, found out that
Yeah.
it was something that I really didn't want to miss out on.
Yeah. Now you're already so far down the line.
Yeah. exactly. So they told us that they wanted us to go for Eurovision. Me and Joe weren't too sure about it at the time. Then
Yeah, I mean,
we
at
naturally
this point, you both come off the end of The Voice, and you've both got your own ideas of what you want your solo careers to be like.
yeah,
You've been working on them for the
pretty much.
past eight months to a year, whatever it was. You've been
Yeah,
writing your own stuff. You've been making deals with people, plans, all
yeah,
this stuff, and then they're saying like, "All right, we want you to drop all that and now come to work as a duo," which can kind of set your it can go one of two ways, couldn't it?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And basically, we decided after obviously looking at the viewing figures, that we were like, you know
Yeah,
what, this is something that we could probably do with.
yeah.
So we only really had a short space of time to get a song together for Eurovision.
Did you write the
And it was
song?
quite difficult. No, we didn't. I mean, we both wanted to write something, but the submission deadline was like really, really like soon. And it was one of those where it was really difficult trying to write something for Eurovision because it's got to have that certain element of Euro cheese. Do you know what I mean? Like it's got to have
Yeah.
that kind of element to it.
Well,
Otherwise, it's never going
not
to
so much
stick.
anymore.
No, I
What was that
suppose not so
one?
much anymore.
What was that one? Britain have always, is it Britain or the UK in Eurovision? Just Britain,
United Kingdom.
United Kingdom. Yeah. So the UK have always notoriously done fucking awful at Eurovision,
Well, not
and
always. Well, I mean, we've won
so,
it 5 times.
well, whenever I've watched it anyway,
Oh
it's
yeah, in
always,
our
I say
lifetime, yeah.
that element of cheese and that shit is always there. But then the one time that we probably should have won it was that the year, obviously all the stuff with the Ukraine going on, and
Oh, Sam
of
Ryder.
course, the Ukraine won because of all the political stuff.
He
But that
also won
was
it
it.
the year I did it.
Oh, did he? Oh, Ukraine did. Sorry,
Yeah,
I think I meant to say yeah.
yeah, he did. Yeah,
But then that was probably the actual best song. Was it Spaceman?
yeah, it was a great song.
It was so good.
Yeah, it was meant, wasn't it?
Yeah. What was what? Sorry, I can't. I haven't listened to your Eurovision thing in a while. I remember listening to it a few times a while back when you first told me about the Eurovision, but I can't remember it. In your own opinion, I'll say, was it any good?
I think it suited Eurovision really, really well. It was called "You're Not
Very
Alone."
diplomatic answer.
Yes. So it's one of those really. I think it was almost kind of purpose built for what it was for, and I think it suited the situation perfectly. Like Eurovision fans
Oh,
just seemed
hello,
to absolutely lap it up. They loved it, and still to this
Jake.
day now. Yeah. Hello.